this the same piano?
This is it. Well, I don't remember.
It's in tune. Did a tuner come?
Yeah, they came.
Oh, okay.
The tuner came. Okay.
Okay,
But
good.
I'm like, man, I have to look. Wait, let me look for the scratches.
Like either the tuner came or you switched it out.
Yeah, right. Let me look. I can tell you by the number of scratches. Which one you read?
Is it fast?
Always very nice and chatty. Yeah.
You look pretty. You good? I'm good. When you're done with the band concert, how are you dismissing them? Are they going to meeting rooms after?
Yeah, they're going to like a choir. I got flutes, clarinets, and saxophones in the band room. I got trumpets and trombones in the choir room, and I asked them to designate a meeting spot with their parents that wasn't those two rooms. So
Okay.
they're gonna go that way. We got kids going this way. Percussion stay on stage.
Okay.
I'm so sorry I missed your daughter's concert.
It's okay. I'm gonna go. Jason's gonna take her out for ice cream tour, and I'm gonna surprise her and meet them up there. So, whatever, like after, if you want me to watch one of the meeting areas, then I'll probably just kind of disappear once the kids are all accounted for.
Sure.
Unless you need extra help, I'll stay and help you if you need help moving stuff or whatever. She's got her orchestra concert next week. Interesting. See what theirs looks like.
I know. No, this works. I think it's worth it.
It's actually a really nice program. Like, did you see it? Mm-hmm. Like, it's very professional. I thought her little note from the record was good. This looks good. It's just
Can't you just hear her saying this?
Do you remember Dawn's nothing figures? These ones are
Similar.
times 10 over the top.
she's got a whole thing. They're gonna come on, then I'm gonna come on, and she's gonna come out while I'm saying So you'll stay at the stage manager's desk. If they need something, you do it.
Hello. Thank you for being here this evening. I understand it's been nearly 2 years since there's been an orchestra concert here or a band concert. I know the feeling. I'm a performer myself, and we really miss performing. So thank you so much for being here this evening and for supporting our 6th grade orchestra from Troy Intermediate. This is a wonderful group of students, and I've been very happy to work with them. My name is Leslie Bradek. I'm a violinist and violist, but I also teach. And I just want to tell you, this has been a wonderful experience. So far, I've seen a lot of improvement. We are what I call, like any student ensemble, we are a work in progress. And so when you see the term informants on the front cover of the program, you might think, well, what on earth would that be? An informants is a performance, but it's also designed to let you know what's going on in the classroom. It gives you a glimpse into how we work. And there are certain things we do on a daily basis that are very beneficial to us, very important to learning how to play in tune and together. And so we're going to take you through some of those same things before we perform any pieces of music. I think you'll find it pretty interesting, actually. I want to welcome Mrs. Brown, who is our vocal teacher at Troy. She is very nicely and kindly accompanying us on the piano tonight, and we use that extra help. We sound even better when we're accompanied by the piano. So what we're going to start off with to begin with is something that's listed in your program is a tuning tune. What on earth is that? It's not necessarily meant to be something that we do in a performance, but I've had high school orchestras play the tuning tune on stage before, just so that they can sharpen up their ears and they can hear if any of their strings have gone out of tune all of a sudden. We have a chance of getting it back in tune before we start performing. So first off is the tuning tune. Bear with us for just a second. This is terrible weather for stringed instruments, and strings like to slip. Could I hear the cello or the viola cease? Just the cease. Thank This is why we do this tuning tune, because it helps us just correct those minor things that may have happened when we came out on stage. All better now on those C strings. Okay. One of the next really important things that I'm a big believer in, and it might not be the most glamorous thing that we do, but we practice scales. And scales are really important, fundamental in all of the music that we play. We are working on 3 major scales right now. We're working on D major, G major, and C major. These are very string instrument friendly keys. Every scale that we play eventually will be in a different key. In other words, a different number of sharps and flats at the beginning of the line of music. And if we can play scales really well in tune, the pieces that we learn that are in the same key can also sound that much better. So scales, I'll just give you a little anecdote here. I studied for 5 years in junior high and high school with a teacher at CIM. He was also a member of the Cleveland Orchestra, and he was in the Cleveland Orchestra for 53 years. I ended up teaching alongside him at CIM once I became a professional musician too, which was really kind of cool. He used to insist that I play scales at the beginning of every lesson. I had to practice them, and they weren't easy. They were pretty complicated and all kinds of arpeggios and everything, and I thought, Mr. Lobel hates me. He hates me because he's making me play scales. It wasn't until I started teaching that I realized he really cared about how I sounded. This is why we do this. It helps us. We all are better for it. I even forgot about the microphone. Sorry about that, so next time I'll use it. I hope you all heard that, though, that we're going to get started with the D major scale. D major scale, right? And we're playing the D major scale together in unison. All right. All right, now we have many different ways in which we can practice scales, different bowings. We can play a scale in canon, or like a round. And that's what we're going to do right now. It's certainly much more interesting. This helps tune our ears more so that when we're playing together in an ensemble and we're not playing exactly in unison with each other, but we have maybe 3 or 4 part harmony, we get used to hearing this, and if we need to, we can adjust our fingers to play even better in tune. This time with D major, we're going to start off with the first violin section starting. The second violin section will be the second entrance, and viola, cello, and bass will be the third. They will also be the last ones to finish. So this is the D major scale in canon. More interesting that way, isn't it? It's also much more challenging. It requires a lot of listening and counting. Now, you may say, well, why all this emphasis, Ms. Bradick, you come out on stage, you're talking about playing in tune. Let me tell you something about stringed instruments, one of many things that makes them almost uniquely challenging. If you play a stringed instrument, like one of the plucked stringed instruments, like guitar or banjo or mandolin, you have frets to guide you as to where to put your fingers. The violin, violoncello, and bass have no frets. It's a perfectly smooth fingerboard, and every instrument is slightly different in size. You know, you go from one instrument to another, you size up to another instrument, you're going to have to readjust where you place your fingers. How do we know if we're right? Couple of things. We have to start off with the instrument in tune. We already did that. We tuned backstage. The second thing we need to do is make sure we're aware of where our fingers belong. Where are their whole and half steps? You'll notice that most of our students have finger tapes, and it's actually pinstriping tape. Works beautifully. Finger tapes help guide beginning students as to where to put their fingers so that they can play with more accuracy. Should they be looking at their fingers all the time? No. It's just for reference. This is what we need more than anything. We need for our ears to be reacting to where we're putting our fingers, and when we get better and better at this, we can adjust our fingers and really lock into playing well in tune. Is there ever a time when we can stop listening and say, I learned how to play in tune, it's all going to be okay? No, never. It is a constant challenge. I've been playing for years. I won't tell you how many. I still work on playing in tune. It is absolutely necessary so that the whole group sounds good. So, that being said, and if you all still remember D major, and I know it's still in your fingers and your ears, we're going to go on to a piece of music that is constructed in D major. It's based on a 1-octave D major scale. It's called Impulse. And Impulse is actually a real tune. It's not a scale, and it's not the tuning tune. This requires a little bit different kind of a bow stroke from what we've been doing, and bowing is half the battle for us too, because the bow is our voice. I'm asking that students play slightly detached, remember that? Sort of a detached stroke, so that this sounds very powerful and maybe a little pushy. So Impulse is our first real composition piece of the evening. There are a lot of stacked harmonies in there. This was a little bit more complicated than anything we've done so far. We're about to move on to our last piece of the evening, and you'll say, well, why only 2 pieces of music? First of all, these are pretty lengthy for students who are more beginning students. Not everybody here is a straight beginner, although there are a lot of beginners in the group who have really, really learned fast, and I'm very proud of all of you, by the way, especially the beginners. It takes a lot of concentration, and when we have to switch gears, which we're about to do now, we're going to go into a different key. We're going into the key of G major, which is a pretty friendly key, again, for strings, but the first violin section, I'm asking them to play the scale, the G major scale, to warm up an octave. We have choices of octaves, and we can, the violin can play very, very high. I mean, all of these instruments can. But they're the first ones we're going to have to take off and go high. Sometimes when we go on to a different octave, we have a different fingering pattern, and the relationship of where we put fingers close and keep them far apart changes dramatically. That's one of the things that's really tough to get used to. It takes constant vigilance. I also want to explain something about this piece. It's called The Abandoned Toy Shop, but that isn't the real name of it. I got this idea from Mrs. Bain. I thought it was brilliant. And she had a group that performed this several years ago. The piece is actually called The Abandoned Funhouse. And, use your imagination. I mean, it's someplace that normally you think of as being really, a cheerful place to be, like a toy shop or a fun house. Imagine it just being left and gathering cobwebs, and nobody goes in there anymore. It's kind of a sad thing in a way. In order to fit more of the Christmas season, this is something that Mrs. Bain had suggested to me. She said she had students who liked this so much when they did it in the fall that they wanted to play it again. So she changed the title of it to The Abandoned Toy Shop, and I thought that was fantastic because that fits Christmas season much better than a fun house. So this is our work in progress, The Abandoned Toy Shop, by the same composer who wrote the last piece, Brian Balmaj. We hope you enjoy it. We sure hope you come back in the spring because we're going to play the entire piece. And it's going to be that much better because we're going to keep working on playing in tune and playing together. Also look for a lot more music coming up in the spring. Please, I want to ask you, if you can really think about when you're supporting these wonderful young musicians on stage, think about all the different things that have to go into really learning music and appreciating it. If you have never brought your sons and daughters or grandkids to a concert, I highly recommend it because live music is incredible. And we have a number of orchestras in the Lorain County and Cuyahoga County area and Summit County even that are just wonderful. So keep your eyes and ears open and look to bring your family to live music. And I want to leave you with a couple of other things too, real quickly before we leave. There's all kinds of research that's done about music and how it stimulates your brain. And I should send this link to everyone here because it's a fascinating 5-minute video, a TED Talk, about how instrumental music specifically exercises every part of your brain. You have to use your tactile senses, you have to listen, you have to think ahead. There's so many things that go on in your brain. And musicians, I feel like I shouldn't even say this, but it's true. Musicians tend to be amongst the brightest people in school. And where I used to, the system where I used to teach, every year the top 10 graduates were all either in choir, band, orchestra, or 2 or 3 of those groups. Every single one of the top 10. I think there's a connection there. But beyond that, I just think of something that one of my teachers said one time, wise old teacher I had in college. And he asked, why did you all, we were music majors, why did you decide to pursue music? And everybody kind of went, well, because I love music. He said, it's because you had something to say, something to express that was so profound, words alone would not do it. Music is very healing, soothing, and it's a really great thing, especially in our times right now. So please listen, go to concerts as often as you're able to, and thank you so much for being here and for encouraging these wonderful musicians on stage. Thank you.
take all these off? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, Zach, that'll be your job then, because we all have rows to do. So if you take all the papers off, and we gotta get this piano out of here.
What? Did you say something out of here?
Zach, we need one more music stand in the front row. And they're right there on stage, yeah. Oh, okay, well, yeah. The kids each have rows, so you just understand. Oh, okay. I mean, they don't know which rows they have to do. Okay, gotcha. No, that's okay. This one's gone.
I had some kids get sick, yeah.
Zach, would you check the fourth row? 19 stands. 19 stands. For the speakers?
I
or
actually
no?
need one right
Yeah,
here,
right
and then I
okay,
need
gotcha.
one over here. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But there's some actually.
27 and I'll need 31.
Okay, these ones I'll go over here. Yeah, this is, I'm waiting for you to take the bells. I gotta switch my bells down. I know we need a music stand here. I think they just need switched down. There are a few pictures still. I'm gonna just put bells down. We're gonna check with her about that row 31 since she might need to put bells in. Just ask her if she has any about that row. Mrs. Vance. Yeah, I think that one was even further, right? Middle, beach long Oh, really? Okay, I thought maybe that was just Of course, one of these things. Those were my bells.
Wait, an extra chair?
Here, Zach, pass me one of those chairs behind. On the sides.
Ready? 4 dots. Let's hear it. Instruments up. Good posture. And 1, 2, ready, go. 4 raise. 4 quarter notes percussion. 1, 2, ready, go. Goes again. Ready, play. Make sure you have your music out. You ready? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first 6th grade band concert of the year and the first band concert for this group of students behind me. It's a very exciting night because it is the first Troy band concert in 2 years. So we're getting back to playing instruments, making music. Yes, it's wonderful. So, very exciting stuff this year. We had some people that were able to play instruments last year with us. We had some new people join us on instruments this year. Let's see it by, can you raise your hand if you are new to an instrument or your instrument this year is new to you? So you played an instrument last year. So we have a lot of new people in this group, and it's been very fun to have them join us. We're kind of doing like a mixture between like a hybrid between a 5th grade and a 6th grade concert since we kind of started at the beginning of this year. And I am actually going to hand it over to our first speakers tonight. AJ, Bridget, Carter. Okay, so wait till Carter gets up here. All right, go ahead.
Our first 2 selections tonight are Hot Cross Buns and Au Clair de la Lune. Hot Cross Buns originated as an English street cry from the early 1700s. Street cries are short lyrical calls of merchants selling their products and services. Many merchants created custom melodic phrases so that customers would recognize when certain products were being sold, kind of like the commercial jingles we hear on the TV today.
During the 18th and 19th century, the street cries of major urban centers became one of the distinctive features of city life. Street cries became popular subject for musicians, artists, and writers of the period. So, Hot Cross Buns went from a street cry to a nursery rhyme, and now it has become the unofficial anthem of beginning bands across the country.
Au Clair de la Lune is a French folk song that also dates back to the 18th century. Not only is it a simple and beautiful melody that is perfect to use while learning how to play an instrument, it happens to be the melody that inventor Edward Martinville used when he produced the first ever known sound recording in history on April 9th, 1860.
So in between, In between each song, you're going to see the percussionist scrambling to get to the different instruments. Being a percussionist is not being a drummer. They have to learn how to play all sorts of things. We have bells, we have the bass drums, we have triangles and wood blocks and all kinds of fun things for them to learn how to play. So that's why you're seeing them run around back there. So they have a chance to be able to play everything at least once on each song.
Did you know that Mary Had a Little Lamb is based off of a true story? It comes from a poem that is centered around an incident in the life of Mary Sawyer of Sterling, Massachusetts that was first published in 1830.
Legend has it that Mary found a sick young lamb on her family's farm, and she nursed it back to health. And in turn, the lamb started to follow her everywhere she went. One day, the lamb followed her to school, and she tried to hide it from her teacher. But when she was called on to stand up and read it out loud to the class, the lamb, at the sound of her voice, leapt out of its hiding spot. Mary was told by the teacher to keep her lamb at home in the future. The next day, her classmate John handed Mary a piece of paper that contained the now famous nursery rhyme.
After Mary Had a Little Lamb, we will feature a melody from a German folk song that was adapted and used in the Mother Goose nursery rhyme known as Lightly Row. There are other nursery rhymes that use this melody as well. One of them, Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty, was made popular by Sheldon in the sitcom Big Bang Theory.
One, two, ready. Okay, player's choice. Michael. You guys ready? You got it? Player's choice. Speak up. 2 times. Sebastian, are you ready? Ready? Okay. And 1, 2, ready, go.
Ode to Joy is the name of the poem that inspired Ludwig van Beethoven's famous melody in his Ninth Symphony. The poem's lyrics are incredibly joyful and speak of unity and happiness. It was said that the joyful words helped Beethoven create the most perfect melody ever composed. After Ode to Joy, we will move on to another nursery rhyme favorite, Old MacDonald. It is thought that the melody was written by a gentleman named Thomas D. Urfray for an opera in 1706, which then evolved into various folk songs in Britain, Ireland, and eventually North America.
Avon. Thank you. All right, let's do it. Hurry up, smooth it up. And ready? 1, 2, ready.
He's over there. He's right there.
Alright, hold on 1 second before you do something.
God, I'm so nervous. Ode to Joy is the name of a poem that inspired Ludwig van Beethoven's famous melody in his... Oh. The melodies we've played tonight have progressively added the pitches of our scale as we learned them. We started with Do, Re, and Mi with Hot Cross Buns, Au Clair de la Lune, and Mary Had a Little Lamb. Added Fa and Sol and Lightly Row, and Ode to Joy, and then La with Ode MacDonald.
The last pitch of the scale, T, is the star of our next melody in one of our favorite songs, Shark.
1, 2, ready, go.
Am I good to go, Miss Bain? Our next piece is an upbeat rock song that shows off the wind player's breath control and the percussion section's rhythm. Here is Barracuda Rock.
You guys ready? Okay. This one's up. Oh, no. One of these first, right? Okay, down first. Okay, 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. My apologies. So for our last selection tonight, I don't know if you saw in the program. I don't know if you guys saw it in the program, but if you would like to join along with us, there is, unfortunately, there is only an app for the iPhone for this. There's like a Jingle along that you can play along with us, and we'd love to have you join us. Unfortunately for Android users like me, the app that we've used in previous years, it doesn't work anymore. But we do have a lot of extra sleigh bells that I'm going to ask our elves to pass around. I do feel like, go ahead guys, go around and like hand them out to some people. So if you would like to play along with us, they're going to do that. Yeah, you want to take and pass them around? And I feel like I do need to give a warning though, like on the thing it does like not for 3 years and younger, apparently it's choking hazard. Just felt like I needed to say that. So yeah, there's going to be passing them around if you'd like to grab one so you can play along with us. spread the joy of music. Do you guys want to help them?
Can I use this as breast?
Okay. Do you,
There's no
big ones?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, he took them. I'm sorry. Okay.
So let's see. 24 times 7.
Hey, can you guys?
Do I go around the audience?
His brain shatters on stage. Starts
I
punching.
hate it. We're talking about what we
All right. Very good. Love it. Yes. All right. We got it? So just like any performance, we need to have a practice first. So I would like to try to practice along here. We have our sleigh bell players up here on stage. They are your official conductors for this evening. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say 1, 2, ready, go. And if you guys would play along with them, we're going to do quarter notes kind of like this. And then when it's time to stop, stop. Okay, let's try this. You ready? So both sides here. Okay, 1, 2, ready, play. We're ready for the Cleveland Orchestra. All right, sounds good. Now, there is a point in this song where we are going to split the different sides. So I'm just going to make an imaginary line that you guys are going to be on this side. These are your conductors. And you guys on this side with your conductors. So when they play, you play. When they play, you play. All right, so let's try it. We're going to start with this side first. You ready? And 1, 2, this side first. 1, 2, this side now. 1, this side, this side. And stop. All right, we are ready to go. The last selection is called I Jingle. You guys ready? All right, instruments up. Bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, ready, go. And 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Thank you so much for joining us for our first concert, and I hope you have a very happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you so much.